Ben Shephard has long been a familiar face in British households. Known for his warmth, quick wit, and effortless charm, he has hosted some of the UK's most beloved television shows, from Good Morning Britain to Tipping Point and Ninja Warrior UK. For decades, he has been seen as the steady, smiling figure we wake up to in the mornings, a broadcaster whose sincerity resonates across generations. And by his side, though less in the spotlight, is Annie Shephard, his wife of over 20 years. Annie, a brilliant woman in her own right, has often been described as Ben's grounding force, the anchor who keeps his feet firmly planted even as his career soars. Together, they have projected the image of the perfect couple, devoted, dignified, and unshaken by the turbulence of celebrity life. But as with all love stories, the truth is never as simple as the public image. And recently, a revelation, subtle but significant, has emerged, one that may shift the way many see Ben and Annie's seemingly unbreakable marriage. This is not the glossy tabloid version of events, but a deeper look into what happens when love, expectation, and the burden of public perfection collide. To the outside world, Ben and Annie embody balance. They've raised 2 sons together, navigated Ben's grueling TV schedules, and managed to keep their private life remarkably low-key compared to many of his ITV colleagues. Unlike the celebrity couples splashed across the front pages for every minor squabble, Ben and Annie chose discretion. Their relationship has always seemed refreshingly normal. At award shows and industry events, Ben's colleagues have often remarked on how Annie quietly supports him, rarely seeking the spotlight for herself. To many, she appeared to be the kind of woman who didn't need validation from cameras or red carpets. Her strength came from her family, her values, and the quiet assurance of a relationship built on trust. But public images are, by their very nature, incomplete. And according to those close to the Shephards, Annie has recently made a statement in private that shook even Ben's unwavering optimism. It began, insiders suggest, with what was supposed to be an intimate conversation about their future. After years of Ben's early mornings, late nights, and the ever-present pressure of live television, the couple had been discussing what the next chapter of their lives might look like. Retirement? More time for family holidays? A slower pace? But instead of reassurance, the conversation reportedly took a different turn. Annie, known for her honesty and directness, is said to have expressed something that left Ben deeply unsettled. She allegedly confessed that for much of their marriage, her commitment had been driven less by love and more by a sense of loyalty, practicality, and stability. Imagine the weight of such words. For a man like Ben, so often seen as the embodiment of kindness, a devoted husband and father, to hear that the love he believed was mutual might have been conditional, or perhaps not as romantic as he imagined, is nothing short of devastating. Those who know Ben describe the moment as a seismic shift. He was not angry, but heartbroken. Because for him, Annie had always been the one, the woman he fell for in university, the partner he believed shared his deepest joys and struggles. To discover that she may have loved him differently than he loved her, that was a wound far deeper than any public criticism or career setback. Ben Shephard is not a man who wears vulnerability easily in public. His career demands composure, the cheerful host who keeps the energy flowing, the reliable anchor who never lets chaos rattle him on live television. But behind the scenes, friends say, this revelation has left him introspective in a way few have ever witnessed. He has reportedly spent long hours alone, reflecting not only on Annie's words, but also on the choices he has made as a husband. Did his relentless career pursuits take too much time away from their bond? Did he mistake routine and comfort for passion? Did he fail to notice subtle signals Annie had been sending for years? It is in many ways the universal midlife reckoning, magnified by fame, by expectation, and the ever-watchful eyes of an audience who believes they know the full story. For couples like the Shephards, public perception plays an undeniable role. Viewers have long admired Ben for being one of television's good guys, a family man who avoids scandal, unlike so many of his peers. That image is not just about Ben himself. It extends to Annie, too. So when word of Annie's statement began to spread quietly among close circles, it was inevitable that speculation would grow. Was their marriage less than what it appeared? Were they staying together out of duty rather than love? Social media, as always, amplified the whispers. Some fans expressed sympathy for Ben, calling him too good-hearted to deserve such emotional upheaval. Others defended Annie, suggesting that her honesty, however painful, was an act of courage. After all, isn't every marriage, even the happiest, layered with truths that rarely see the light of day? Despite the gravity of Annie's words, there is no indication that Ben and Annie are on the verge of separation. In fact, those closest to them insist that their marriage is not crumbling, but evolving. Annie's honesty, though hurtful, may actually mark a turning point, a chance for both to confront the reality of their relationship with clarity rather than illusion. Marriage, after all, is not about maintaining a perfect facade. It is about weathering storms, even the ones that come decades into the journey. For Ben, this storm may ultimately reveal the depth of his resilience. For Annie, it may allow her to rediscover her love not as obligation, but as choice. As with any deeply personal revelation, the future remains uncertain. Will Ben retreat further into introspection, or will he find a way to confront Annie's admission with grace and renewed commitment? Will Annie's words, painful as they were, spark new honesty and intimacy in their marriage? One thing is certain: the story of Ben and Annie Shephard has shifted. No longer the untouched image of quiet perfection, their relationship now stands as something more complex, more human, and perhaps, if they can navigate this chapter together, more inspiring. Because in truth, perfection is not what makes a marriage enduring. It is the ability to face imperfection together, to acknowledge the fractures, and to choose again and again to stay. Closing reflection. For viewers who have admired Ben Shephard for years, this revelation is both shocking and strangely relatable. It reminds us that even those we place on pedestals, whose lives seem charmed and untroubled, are navigating the same questions of love, loyalty, and vulnerability as the rest of us. Ben's journey and Annie's honesty may ultimately serve as a reminder that love is not a static feeling, but a choice renewed daily. And sometimes it takes the sting of truth to remind us of what truly matters. So, what do you think? Can Ben and Annie weather this revelation and come out stronger? Or will the weight of Annie's words linger as an unhealed wound? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the personal journeys of the people you thought you knew best. Because behind every smile on screen lies a story, and sometimes the truth is even more powerful than the image.